question is, the board spent a lot of taxpayers' money anyway, because spending on noise abatement programs, they did like $511 or something like that. My question is, I know they also spend a lot of money suing people who are fighting the building of the runway, and now they will be suing, fighting, spending more millions. Why not use this money and buy all those affected properties outright? I mean, it's maybe like, I don't know, 1 or 2 miles on each side of a runway. What's the problem with it? And another question is, I don't watch TV, but sometimes I turn the news on or weather, and I don't have reception because it's impacted by runway. Is Port of Seattle going to cover my cable bill with it? Why not? It's a direct impact on my quality of life. And then third, I see a lot of senior citizens here, and they probably lost 40% of their home values because of your runway. Don't you feel shady?
No.
In 1992, my home was so-called soundproof by the Port of Seattle. Now it's absolutely worthless. Are you people above the law? Even in Guantanamo Bay, prisoners of war are listening to decibels at 79. In 92, I have documented 101 decibels in my home. I want to know when and if we can get President Obama involved in this. He closed Guantanamo Bay for torturing prisoners. He can close the Port of Seattle.
I want to know what your answer was to his question about buying out all these non-compatible land uses.
Well, we have bought out the non-compatible land uses associated with the third runway. So there are compatible and non-compatible land uses. Again,
I think you're confusing non-compatible land uses to the people that were underneath your 27 million cubic yards of film. That wasn't non-compatible. That was being redesignated industrial.
We will reevaluate these noise programs in the next Part 150, and we find that there is non-compatible land uses with the association of the runway use, all runway uses at the airport. There's a possibility for mitigation, whether it's acquisition or additional insulation. That's where these programs have to be looked at, and we're doing that. So
okay, I have another comment then. That in 1998, when the State Department of Public Health had health review that looked at all the cancer rates around the airport, which Julia Patterson and Dave Upthgrove were a part of getting that going, and they found all those extra cancer cases. They found it in much higher rates in the 3-mile area. I noticed that DIA, when it was built, which is the new airport, and DFW, they each have a 5-mile buffer around them. In 1973, a King County monitoring van sat in Paul Barden's driveway for a month. The rates of emissions that they found in that driveway were so high that he, as a legislator at the time, prior to his becoming a councilman, put his house up on the market and immediately moved away. The report for King County at that time said that the noise mitigation is something that needs to consider an area that also encompasses the air pollution problem from these jets. And I don't know if anybody in this room is aware, but the Sept Airport current greenhouse gas inventory says it's the single largest producer of greenhouse gas emissions in the state. Sept EIS also admitted that they're the largest producer of ozone precursors by acre. The FAA admitted that too. So we have schools, we have sensitive land uses, nursing homes, people living in homes nearby. They're all being exposed on a 24-hour-a-day basis to cancer-causing emissions that are going to kill them. The only way to mitigate that is to buy out beyond a 3-mile area. That will cost billions of dollars. So what I suggest is that every permit flies in paid tax. It goes back to these people who are injured by your operations. Every user fee, landing fee, carbon tax, whatever it is, has to come back to this committee to pay for our deaths, our suffering, our losses of property value, our loss of quality of life, our inability to go outside and have a backyard barbecue that everybody else in the region that uses SeaTac can enjoy without worrying if it's going to kill them. So you can't get the money, you can't give the money, but each plane, each passenger that flies in here can pay curfew for killing us. How do you have that?
We'll take the comments back with us. I don't have
To where? Where my comments went on the EIS that said all this, that everybody said, don't worry, it's going to be good. You guys lied to us already. We need answers.
I don't have an
We need money, we need compensation so we can move.
Okay. And we're going to, I think, wrap this up real soon. So if somebody doesn't get a comment, especially, okay. Yeah, and I noticed that maybe some of you have already spoken once. If you could just write your comments down. I think we have something over here. Susan will talk about that at the end. So we'll take a couple more, and then we'll go ahead and wrap it up for you.
Okay, well, first of all, I do respect you being here, and thank you for being here. I do want to ask a couple questions about this operations comparison chart. Sure. Is the information available from 1997 to 2008 somewhere that showed how the projections were changing on your website or something?
We do have the runway statistics and airport operations statistics on the Port of Seattle webpage. So if you want to look up historic operations, it's all right there. I believe if you go to the portseattle.org and then go into the planning department's webpage, it might be right on the front. I can actually look for it in a second. But they're all the statistics. You can run all kinds of reports and pull up whatever data you want from them.
Okay, I guess my point would be that in my business, at some point, if projections are changing dramatically, then my plan has to change dramatically. And I just don't know where the stopgap was on projections changing so dramatically and the plan not changing with it. To have a 30% reduction in operations and still be talking about greater demand at SeaTac doesn't seem feasible to me. Now, I know you said, presumably, that things will get better for those of us for whom it's changed dramatically since the third runway. I guess we're all hoping that's true. And I know you said you respected us and thought we were smart, but you've got a whole new group of people impacted by the third runway that are telling you the same things over and over again, that it isn't acceptable, that things happen that we weren't told would happen. Patterns have changed. I live between Three Tree Point and Shorewood on High Bank waterfront and never have experienced the kind of impact that the third runway has given that community, including over our waterfowl and our beach at Cedars Park. So the guy who lived in Shorewood for 40 years, I can't compete with that, but I can tell him I support everything he's saying. We shouldn't have to come to your office again to tell you what we're experiencing. You have the data that knows what changes happen as a result of the third runway. We're asking you to work with the legislature, whomever you have to say it's not acceptable. And maybe 65 DNL is not acceptable to people anymore in today's world. Maybe it was in 97, it's not today. Small aircraft flying over our lake properties, our waterfront, our birds, etc., it's not acceptable today. Why can't we work together and say it's not acceptable and change it?
We are
When will we hear back from this? How will we know that anything we've changed has gone anywhere?
I can guarantee you we will have public meetings, public open houses. We'll have venues such as this that will be out there. We will present the information. We'll have poster boards set up to show you what the changes have been, the statistics, the information. We'll come to your communities to do this.
Okay. Well, what I heard was the Shorewood man was to call you and meet with you.
If you would like to do that.
I'm sure, and that's great that you offer yourself, and I'm sincere about that. But my final issue is this. It would seem to me that we're not the only airport who kind of put, a bigger kind of foot in a smaller shoe, so to speak. And yet still, we're still talking about a 30% reduction in operations. So it just mathematically doesn't make sense that there's so much demand. So hopefully we'll see a lot of change when we are using the first runway again. But I would think that there would be a best practice kind of group council that goes on in airports around the country where you study each other's best practices. Are we like one of the best?
We are a leader in noise mitigation and noise abatement programs. I have worked with the Airports Council International, which is the international kind of organization that really analyzes the trends in aviation, the problems with the products that we have. I was leader of the airport noise group at that portion for 5 years. I led the committee. There are things that we do better than other airports. We implemented a third runway. We have no noise associated with the third runway, but that doesn't discount the fact that we have done a lot of mitigation in this community that I am damn proud of.